Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I just felt like I was in the mood to just look at some really high quality Quidditch. So we're going back to Oktoberfest because the club game, HVI had a lot of roster issues. CCI there's no film of, at least higher quality film. So we're going back to all the way to Oktoberfest to kind of find some of that. We're looking at the Bosnyan Bearsharks versus New England Revolution, or maybe they're just called Revolution. And yeah, we're going to see how this game goes. I've never watched it, so maybe there'll be high-quality Quidditch with the players in it. It should be high-quality Quidditch, but I guess we're going to find out. I might use names a little bit more here because I think it's kind of a nice companion piece to what's going on right now with the all-timer draft. A lot of these players have been drafted already, so maybe we'll get some chances to really see why that is. Before we get started, please, if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It really does make a difference if you subscribe to the channel. That way you can see every time we put up a new video. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So Revolution is in orange on the right. Bosnia is in blue on the left. Early season, Rev didn't have jerseys. Some of the Bosnia players don't have jerseys. So we're about to get brims up. And Rev comes away with Budget Control and with Quaffle Control, pretty ideal. They're going to switch right out of their run-up set, which is probably just their fastest two people at beater. And we'll see their first possession. Looks like Bosnia is in a 2-2. Pretty standard stuff here. You can see 2 up, 2 back. We'll see how we go to attack it to the wing. That's what you want to do. You run an overlap to get him into the lane. So I never really like going in the lane against 2-2. I think it's minimalistic on options because look at what Bosnia's doing here. So Julia Bear's the one wrapping here. They've got 2 at the hoops. The beater's in the middle. He just doesn't have good options. So I assume he's just going to pull it out. No, he's just going to fire. So, I mean, he fired that shot. And, I mean, sorry, I think my computer just bugged for a second. But he fired that shot, and there was no way it was ever going through that hoop. Maybe it was a shot pass. Maybe he thought he would hit Grace, who was cutting. But, I mean, I happened to watch the first few plays of this already, and on the sideline you can hear their coach saying, Tyler, it's his own, pass it off, and then he shoots. So, again, don't force shots against 2-2 zones. That's why they exist. Rev wins the exchange there. Lulu's going to press effectively. So it's a weird panic throwaway here by Tyler Trudeau. So, I mean, so the exchange happens here. I can't tell who the beater is here. Exchange is 1, and you can see Lou is about to clean up Leanne and pick up a second bludger. Everything obviously very idealistic there. He's got plenty of time to react to the fact that a press is coming. Unless he thinks he's running his offense off of this, he could walk back now. He and Julia could split up top. Instead, he kind of runs his way into the lane. They get very crunched together, which is the worst thing because now when Lulu presses, she can cover both of them. And then, I mean, at this point even, he can still just run back into his own zone. And maybe he thinks he'll get wrapped and then Lulu will catch up to him. But, I mean, this throwaway just kind of feels inefficient, especially because it goes right to Jake. I guess Grace is on it for a second, but right to Jake, and now he's going to be able to fast break off of it. Really standard fast break stuff there. Waited until he took the contact, passed it off to the open player, running down the wing. I mean, this is really, it should be textbook, but you don't see it enough. I mean, look at the way these 3 players on Rev are going to run. 1 down the middle, 2 on the wings. Second, he takes the contact. He knows he can just swing it over there. Nobody's going to be covering him because teams are never getting back that fast. Easy goal. So again, 1 exchange for Rev. I like this positioning. They kind of corner them off so they have 2 angles they can throw from. And I think this is Jesse makes the beat. I'm not sure what happens with the beaters here. So it looks like Lou is running out here. I guess she's just pressuring Trudeau. And then again, a weird play. Bosnia's just refusing to use their resets. It's going to be another fast break. A good wrap-up, and Archibald smartly says, hey, it's not here. I'm going to pull it back. So that's exactly what you want to do on the fast break. When the pass options aren't there, when you get wrapped, just pull it out and run your offense. Weird decision-making there from Archibald. So let's look at this. So right here, the beater's going to force a no bludger. And Destu does everything right. She's going to run in, and as soon as the pressure comes to her, she's going to dish it off to Archibald. Now, Archibald gets it over here. And I think all he has to do is start kind of cutting out to draw this beater, and then he's got JC Arancibia wide open over here. And so he kind of cuts it back in, and Dillman reads this and beats him and forces the turnover. And I feel like if he was just running towards her and had that momentum, he would have been able to push it off to Arancibia, who should have probably been, once he saw that, cutting further in. But either way, it's a weird play where it's no bludger, and then Rev never even gets half of a look off of it. Also a very, very good beat by Dillman from between the hoops there to nab Archibald. Still 100% bludger control for Revolution in this game. And again, Dillman just fails to win that exchange and loses that one as well. Zoo immediately picks it up. It's that awareness to immediately go out to the ball and start this press. I mean, this is a great look. And it just gets closed down just fast enough. But, I mean, good spacing. Bear's running into space here. It's probably just lofted a little too much so that she has to go no hands on the broom, makes this catch, and then can't really step into her shot. But, I mean, two people step to the hoops anyway. This is a good awareness by Arancibia here. And she didn't have much option as Zoo was coming out to her. Zoo covering a lot of ground in the middle of the field. One of the things that makes her such a strong beater. And then again, we're going to see a fast break. This is a tougher one from Archibald. He is able to get it off. We'll see if Arancibia can finish. No, he can't because the beater got back. So we've seen three fast breaks here, right? The first one went perfectly. He had a dish for the goal. The second one, he smartly pulled it back when the initial wrap happened. Here, I think he's just hoping to win every step of the way with this point defender who's a step behind him, but it's a little bit hopeful, and once I think this is okay, he makes this wrap up. The play's over. Trudeau, this is incredible awareness to get out, because usually Archibald would probably just pull it out at this point, but Trudeau just starts running out immediately and makes that hit, which takes Archibald completely out of the play, doesn't let him reset it. Arancibia also could have reset it. I think Rev just pushed a little too hard there. They just have not gotten that much out of this bludger control, right? It's still 10-0, and their beaters have absolutely dominated the game. And we were talking about it being early season. It just seems like some players playing together for the first time, still working out some kinks. I've noticed that every time kind of Bosnia's running this tap on a point defender, but it doesn't seem to have a purpose, because usually the ball just stays in Trudeau's hand. I think this time it did swing to Bear, but again, I think, yes, a tap beat is generally a low-risk play, but if they're not getting anything off the rotations, then it's probably not necessary. Another one exchange there for Rev. Now, this is great. Let's talk about the way that Max and Lulu effectively press here, right? So this is the point where there's going to be no bludgers for a while. And Trudeau this time finally runs into some space, like finally tries to kill some time for his team. He sees he has a pass back. And now watch as... So let's say, because Zoo's going to run out hard here, which is the proper play. And I think a lot of players would, as the other beater, would kind of check down to Trudeau hard. And what that would allow is a pass to go all the way back to the far side of the pitch as that player was coming back into the play. Havlin's just going to almost sit back like a free safety. And because of this, so let's say Havlin went to Trudeau here, right? I think this is Bear coming into the frame, who's going to run out this way. She's going to be probably open for a pass to kind of, and then she can run it back or take a shot depending on what's where available to her. But because he's sitting more like a free safety, he's kind of guarding both of them with the combination of his arm, his speed, and how far the pass is going to be. So he's just biding his time. They press out with both a Quaffle player and Zoo, and then Havlin's ready to clean that up with the beat. It's perfect execution by both beaters on that play. And still, I don't think Bosnia's had a real offensive possession in this entire game. Let's see if Rev can actually do something offensively, though, finally. All right, so Havlin and Zoo are pushing in. Just trying... So Havlin eats a beat here. This is a smart, aggressive play here. Make a chance, try for budget control any chance you get. After all, Rev hasn't scored in the half corner against no budgers anyway. And I think this is going to just create no budgers in general. And this is great body control by Dastu. So she's going to take this pass, and she doesn't have the immediate shot in because Trudeau, to his credit, is stepping out very, very hard on her. So the key here is that if she gets wrapped in a way that keeps her arms pinned to her body, she will no longer have the ability to score. So what she's going to do is, I think you're going to see right here, basically turn, so she's a righty, right? So she's going to turn the left side of her body into Trudeau and keep her right arm as free as possible. And that's going to allow her, even as he's wrapping her, to put that shot through. It is going to be no budgers the other way, though. And that's exactly a perfectly run fast break this way. So this is great awareness. Cole realizes the fast break's there, picks up the ball, gets to his keeper, and then taking that first contact, passing it off. Nobody's ever there for Cole. I didn't like the play from Havlin and Zoo. They were so compact to each other. And, I mean, maybe they just didn't see the beat coming. Maybe they thought they wouldn't throw. But, I mean, you've got very good beater in Dillman on the other side there. She recognizes. She attacks Havlin. They commit to making the play for budget control. And it's a net. They didn't lose any points, right? It was 10-10. And now they've got some control. Smart from Bosnia here. The Quaffle play is not here, right? So no matter how high Havlin and Zeus step up, their beaters are going to sit way back in their zone because nothing's happening. This is classic. This is what makes Dastu so dangerous on this team. They swing to the wing and force a defense to react. It seems like it's a man defense now from Bosnia, and Archibald recognizes that and takes a shot. I mean, he makes that shot enough that I don't dislike it because it wasn't his own. It was just a man. Trudeau was by himself at the hoops. That said, provided they didn't get budget control, which I don't think they did, though. I'm not sure I see a beater holding a ball there. No, they are, yeah. Without getting budget control there, it's not a high-value possession when you take a shot from that far. But, again, Archibald's ability to hit from that far makes it hard to ever call it a bad decision. A little bit of a force there from Trudeau. Like, I'd like to see him let his beaters work a bit. I see what he sees, and maybe it's just a bad pass, but, I mean, you know that Zoo's going to react fast. You know that Archibald's going to react fast. There's also a really good float in there from Herbert to save the shot. Yeah, I think like it almost ends up working. If he hadn't dropped down all the way from point to save that shot, it might have worked. But it did seem a little forced. I would like to see their beaters do a little bit more first. Back to a 2-2 here. And I think we talk a lot about how you shouldn't throw lofted passes against 2-2s. Because the reason a lofted pass to an unmarked chaser works a lot is that there's only one person at the hoops. So let's say you loft it to one side of the hoops, that person has to close down. But as he's lofting this pass, look how many blue shirts are at the hoops. Like, the odds that this ball gets to her before the entire defense does are low, and that just makes it a really risky and low-value pass. They were able to get budget control, though, in the process. Like, look how hard it's closed down. She basically makes the perfect play of, I mean, that ball was in her hands for half a second, but everyone had crashed before that Trudeau was able to, I believe, get a hand on it, or at least she wasn't able to get enough force on it. Yeah. Don't float passes against 2-2 zones. New line in for Bosnia, though Trudeau's still in the game. All right, so it doesn't necessarily cause anything, but look at this is the aggression that you only see from this pair. Watch the way that the second Zoo, I don't think he's even thrown this ball yet, and Zoo probably has. Let's see. One, two, three. She has 3 steps towards Bear before Trudeau even released the ball. That's a huge difference maker, right? That's the difference between you pressing late and the other beaters catching up to you and blindsiding you, and you actually possibly being able to affect the play. And Bear's composed enough to get it back to Trudeau, but I mean that's can be a difference making kind of thing. And then CJ Jr. here gets himself into a bad situation where he falls too deep into trying to attack Haviland, and Zoo, who is out on the wing, recognizes it, and now he's just got beaters on all sides. Zoo recognizes perfectly, makes the beat, and we'll see if they can press here. They're not able to. I think they had to clear, his partner there. And then, I mean, the shot's fine. There's no good options at that point. At least you're going to get your defense back in shape before they can fast break, though I think Archibald might try to fast break anyway. Yep, he does. It doesn't work out. I don't think his beaters were all the way. No, okay, so they were. So let's see if they can create no bludger. Oh, so there's just no bludger this entire time. The ball is behind. But Bosnia's just been so stout defensively. Let's see if they're staying in the zone again. No, so they're just playing man. But what they're doing, I mean, what a big thing that Solomon does right here is that rather than just taking this beat from Zoo and trying to go for a tackle he was never going to get to, he makes her fade in, makes her tap beat go a little bit awry. She actually ends up, I believe, losing her bludger over here, and then immediately someone's able to step up. Haviland was trying to block the second pass coming in, so now there's actually defenders back. And Bosnia's just been doing a good job crashing on the first pass on all of these fast breaks. Oh man, and they somehow... So what happens here? Kaminiak just sees an opportunity and just takes off. That is a heck of awareness. I mean, he still had to get by through a tackle and barely dodge a beat from Haviland, but that's huge awareness there. And yeah, so that's Rev going down the field on a fast break, 2 bludgers against none, and the result is -1 quaffle point. It just looked like people weren't attacking dangerous enough spots for that pass from Archibald when he was on the fast break. It's a standard man defense now from Bosnia. And they'll work it through Das 2 because of that. A very similar thing to what we just saw on the opposite side here. Zudu, here's how Smaker does it. Just high pressure. Forces the ball out of the hands. And this time, it kind of works out for Boston because it just beats galore. Yeah. And he just drives through the entire team. But the press was the right thing there. It was just that it was barely able to be cleaned up at the last second by the Boston beaters. Boston able to get bludger control. Trying to work it through Heald. really nice ball movement there in general. Yeah, I really like what Bosnia does here. So they work it to heel. They force pressure out to her. And just that's just an over-aggressive beat, right? I mean, basically, you have very little room because Dastu's wrapping here, effectively. So the beat has to be perfect. And once it misses, it's no bludger, I think, because her teammate already lost the bludger. Just good drive, takes the contact, throws it through. Revolution's still looking for a true half-court goal. I guess they got one on the last one technically, but it was just because the beaters kind of went wild in a corner on a loose ball. It was really a 50-50 ball, and their possession had kind of ended. So let's see if they can do anything better here. This is an overload look. They do get bludger control out of it. They do force a no bludger out of it. And then I think there's a handoff here. No, he's just going to drive in behind. I think you need to make one pass there, especially if you're getting wrapped. I mean, there's a keeper there for a reason. It's not the most well-advised shot. So this is kind of the opposite of what we were saying before, right? Where the Boston press was very slow. So let's see right here, because this is no bludger for Bosnia. So this is 2, and Bosnia's chasing their 1 over here. And this should be a press immediately. It should have been a press already starting here. Instead, we get 4 more seconds before the press comes. It gives Bassam time to find an option. And Bosnia resets. They don't even use their reset, which is really ideal. And again, they're talking down this wing where Hild is. Oh, I like the idea. Just not quite perfectly executed. But basically, once she has it out here, she's not a shooting threat because she's in line with the hoops. So people just need to crash the hoops, and she needs to find an option. I kind of think Ashkar might have been the better option, though I guess there are 2 here. But she does see the cut. And, I mean, he doesn't miss that by much, and I think it's probably a goal if he catches it. So I really like it. I like the way that they're working through Hild here. It's the second straight possession where Boston just decided they were content with like a mid-range shot. And I don't think these are really great ideas, right? And like offensive ideas, not just like, this is a bad idea to shoot this. Like, he's got Beckman unmarked over here. This cut's not the most effective. It's kind of in line with him, but I guess nobody was cutting, so he had no passing options, and that's why he ended up shooting. But it's not a very exciting offensive attempt that they are going to keep control. Yep. So that's where you want to move it. Destu's going to attack that space. And now, so who's uncovered here? So this needs to be the more incisive cut now, because I mean, I understand that he's an option out here, but he's not a scoring threat out here because he doesn't have a shooting angle. I would have loved to see him move a little bit more incisively. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you can analyze Jake all you want, and then he'll just pop off a shot from 20 yards, and it won't matter, so. Doesn't mean I like the idea. I think this game's pretty even on score. Bosnia immediately creates no bludger. This is a timing issue, right? If his beaters are going to make this play, he needs to be ready to go or pass. Once his beaters make this play, the next move should never be back. I mean, just dish it off at this point, which, okay, he does, so that's fine. But yeah, missed opportunity, though they are able to keep bludger control. Again, good idea for movement. Bosnia just keeps botching this one pass, and I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, I know they didn't practice much at all as a team before this, so that could be possibly part of it. But because the offensive ideas are there, and I remember even by regionals, they seem to be a lot more crisp with their passing. But this tournament, they just seem to be missing each other by 6 inches here, 9 inches there. Alrighty, so this time, let's see what the offensive set looks like. I like that cut. I don't hate anything about it. It's just unfortunate that... So I think one of the weird things that's happening is that Revolution's running a lot of tap beats, and it's kind of gunking up the middle of the field. Like, this is perfect where they spring Iadevaia, and he gets the ball back, but then the person who's covering him, which is healed, is there to block a shot. Because the timings just aren't... Like, you want to be attacking a little bit earlier before she's in the play, or actually you're kind of creating more harm than good sometimes. Also, a tough miss there from Zoo. Let's see if Bosnia looks to break. Now, Iadevaia still has the ball. And gets a reset off. I think there might be a call on the play, yeah. Let's see. So it's going to be Iadevia's ball, and I assume a foul must have been called on Bosnia. So they're able to get the reset this time. No, there's no foul called, so I'm not sure what the call was on the play. This is an interesting development. I think a lot of people think of Haviland as kind of an aggressive throwing beater a lot of the time. And he's in a situation here where he knows Kyle Gian catches a lot of his throws. So I think probably what he wants here is for Zoo to kind of, in some way, manipulate his ability to make a catch. And she kind of stays a little bit off of him, and I think eventually drops off, which is why I think he finally just decides to target Dillman behind instead. I'm not even sure who he targeted. I think he might have just tap beat. Yeah, he just tap beats. I'm not even sure here. And it's a really free goal the other way. Let's see what happened with the Quaffle players here. Destu has the ball, gets to Archibald, who's just kind of trying to throw a reset pass because, again, I haven't kind of missed. So, but yeah, I think it was a rare moment of indecisiveness from the Rev beating pair that you do not see much, and I think that kind of cost them. I'm sure they'll tell me that they were doing something that I just didn't see because I'm not a smart beater, which is true. Again, the ball's just out on the wing. Okay, finally, someone looked for an incisive pass instead of just taking a shot. Let's see what happens in the bludger game first. Yeah, so Havlin misses again. And the beaters scramble just enough for her to fade in here. And I think she just needed to go up with two hands is all it was. I mean, this is a nice pass. Like, led her towards the hoops and everything. It's the only way you're getting it past the keeper there. Gian, I think, made a desperation beat that's actually going to lose the team bludger control. Yeah, he tried to make that beat. And Zoo, perfect recognition. No, also dumb and perfect recognition. And now I think it's no bludgers the other way. This probably just needs to be pulled up. Yeah, no, too much there, too much. We talk about this a lot because she has time to read the field here, right? There's no more fast break, especially with Havlin coming back into the play with a bludger. Just pull it up. You can even use your reset if you really have to. Trying to throw an incisive pass there was just asking for trouble. And they really got bailed out by, I think that's David Littleton just running into the play and picking up the ball. I like this, getting it deep. She needs to attack this harder, though. Okay. She's doing nothing if she doesn't draw any defensive presence. So let's see what the defenders are doing. Archibald's staying at his hoop, so he doesn't care. Havlin's staying basically at the hoop, so he doesn't care. So she needs to start taking steps in, right? So I always say take your space. And when I say take your space, what I mean is here, let's say Havlin, I don't think Havlin makes this beat and hits very often if you're paying attention to him. For another maybe 3-4 feet, you need to start drawing him out to you in some way, shape, or form. And instead she just kind of stays flat. Yeah, and this is just not scary. He's not scared of her doing anything, so he's going to stay back, and then he has the chance to light up Fox when the pass comes. Misses, but you get the point. Okay, so this is better this time. She actually draws some attention. So watch how differently the play went because she stepped in. She steps in, Zoo pump fakes, which basically means that for at least 1 or 2 seconds she has an opening, and Ashkar makes a perfect cut. I mean, if she just saw this and looped it to him, this is a goal 100% of the time. And she ends up getting it in anyway. Also, incredible patience by Hild here. Let's watch this. Almost everybody throws off this first pump because the beaters do not pump fake from here very often because they know how close you are to a shot. And Zoo knows this, so she figures I'm going to pump, and either she's going to take an ill-advised too early shot, which will probably get blocked, or she'll pass it off and I'll still have my bludger. And instead, she has the patience to wait for 2 more steps and then actually sneak a shot by. Oh, she missed it. I saw the goal ref put his hands up originally, but at least try to sneak a shot by. Good second effort there for the goal. Definitely some frustration, it seems, from the ref side. Yeah. Takos is going to use his timeout here. I believe Teddy wasn't playing in this tournament. Definitely something to note in terms of rev. It restarted. And let's see how the rev beater pair gets a player out of position here. Oh, so Gian goes to press, and finally somebody just says, oh, a press is coming? Let's walk in our own side of the field. This is what Bosnia was never doing. This is what Trudeau was never doing early in the game. And now his beaters are able to catch Gian out of position, and I assume get bludger control. I guess we'll find out. But that's the added benefit of a reset. Everyone's like, oh, it's just a reset, like nothing good. You get so many beaters out of position by running back into your field and them over chasing. That's exactly what Gian did there. Of course, in this case, it doesn't. Yeah, it worked out. I mean, they lose the quaffle eventually, but they do get bludger control. Same play again. Yeah, and again, just a few inches off. Good recognition to go the other way. I think he got beat before, but I mean, these cuts are really good. I mean, we see another cut here into open space, and it just gets thrown behind him. But that's what we saw from Bosnyan in the other video I broke down too. Their cuts are so dangerous. They've got some of the best off-ball wing chasers. And they've so many people can throw passes. When you can just move the ball out to a player like Hield, you can really, really attack. And like usual, I'll probably stop right as we get to snitch on pitch. Bosnia has no bludger control here, so they're probably prioritizing bludger control over a goal because the game's so close. Helen's able to make a block. I'm trying to figure out why this pass is open. So this is just a player losing their man. I mean, just floating out in space, nobody covering. This pass can get thrown all the way back there. I mean, it's a great pass, but I mean, that's what you expect from Trudeau. Nice finish. Another long shot from Rev. Because the passing options aren't really there. This time I think they are. I think you've got someone running behind. I think probably the shot's not the idea here. And it gets knocked down again. Oh, and then way too easy. Great recognition. So this is going to be Cole. Cole reads that this shot was blocked and takes off. Just immediately. Great end-to-end pass by Trudeau, too. And Rev's slowing it down. They do have bludger control, so they're in no rush here. Especially because I think at this point, Bosnia's probably a little bit up on them. So don't want to give more qualified possessions that you don't have to. And then they'll get the inside track to the seekers as well once they come onto the pitch. Yep. All right, so that's going to do it. So what do we learn from this video? I think it's really hard to say. This was really, really early season Revolution without Teddy. And I think it kind of showed in the way that their offense didn't really work. They didn't seem to have consistent ideas. Different people seemed to be trying to do different things. And that led to, I don't think maybe they scored once in the half court. There wasn't many good half court ideas there coming from Revolution. Bosnia, I liked a lot more what they were doing in the half court, which is kind of surprising because they don't practice together very much. Working it through unmarked chasers. Just tons of cuts off ball, and then even in the fast break, they were pretty effective. Beater game, it was definitely Revolution early, which is why I think they were able to get out in front. But once it kind of became a 50-50 beater game, it felt like the Bosnia chasers were honestly shining through. That's it. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks everybody so much for watching, and you take care.